Thank you. Okay, so as far as I remember, in the last class, we had looked at the type of animal tissues. There were 4 types. Like again, a quick revision.
No, sir, we didn't look at this.
We did not.
Sir, we were in that part that you take tissue and put it in back, so you can just cut it.
We had not started with this animal.
No,
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 sir.
Fine. So I guess then we had done only until this.
Yeah, sir. Next one also we had done.
Yeah, these ones, they were the
Yeah.
examples. Fine. So then in the last class, what we had looked at was what is the basic arrangement of a tissue. How does it arrange in terms of cellular organization level? That is cells, then tissues, then organ, an organ system, and then whole body. We also had a look at what is histology, which is the study of tissue, then histopathology, which was the study of disease related to tissues, and the mounting and everything of this tissue we had looked at. So that was the basic introduction of the tissues. There were several examples that I had kept on the slides with respect to their arrangement or the organization level of the tissue. So then we will move forward with respect to what are the types of animal tissue, and these 4 types, they are specific to animals. Yeah, we are not talking of the plant tissues as of now. We are only going to talk about animal tissues for now. Later we will study the plant tissues separately. So
Sir, do we also come in animal tissue?
do we? Yeah, all of us.
Pana, we are also animals, right?
I am not animal.
We are Bona.
Mammals.
Okay. No, we all are animals and we do fall into this category. So these are the 4 different types of tissue that are present in all the animals, including humans. They are who is someone's mic is making some noise. Okay, thank you. So that is, first one is epithelial tissue. Now, usually, most of the students, they tend to forget this particular name because rest everything they have heard quite often, and this is less heard name. So please try to remember this epithelial tissue. Epi refers to the outermost or the lining part, and thelial refers to the organ or the tissue structure. So that is what is the lining of any particular organ. Is usually known as epithelial tissue. We will see in detail what exactly are the those tissues. Then second one, nervous tissue. Everyone knows this nervous tissue. Everyone also knows muscle tissue. That is the 3rd type, and the connective tissue, which is again less heard, but that is the 4th type of tissue. So epithelial, nervous, muscle or muscular, and connective tissue. These are the 4 types of animal tissues. Now we will go over one by one and try and understand each of these type of tissue. Yes, Daham, you have a question.
Yes, sir. Sir, are the epithelial tissues like on the surface of our skin or something?
No, they are more on the inner parts of the skin. So let's say, for example, we are going to study this, by the way, but let's say, for example, you have stomach. Stomach is hollow inside, right? Where the food goes and enters, and then acid is secreted. So that inner lining of the stomach is one type of epithelial tissue, right? Intestine has inner lining, which is like a tube and a hollow structure. That has another type of epithelial tissue. Your lung has epithelial tissue. Kidneys has it. So there are several such structure which are little hollow. Even heart has certain type of epithelial tissue. Of course, it has other type of tissues as well, but it does have most of the organs in your body, which are called internal organs, they do have this epithelial tissue. Okay, we will see that part in a brief later. So So these are the 4 types, that is connective, muscular, nervous, and epithelial tissue. Sequence doesn't matter in whatever sequence you write, because it doesn't really like say anything in terms of sequence. So the collection of tissue, they are joined in structural units to serve a standard function of organ. Now, what does this line mean is, like, it is not the case, Shailesh, I will come back to you. So it is not the case that one particular organ will have only one type of tissue. So what it means is, let's say we talk about heart. Heart has connective tissue. How? The heart has to be held in a particular position. That means those tissues, they are connective tissues. Heart has a pumping muscle tissue, that is muscular tissue or muscle tissue. Heart is having nerves which are coming from brain to heart. So obviously it has nervous tissue. Plus heart has inner lining in the cavity of the heart. They are epithelial tissue. So in general, like heart, most of the other organs also, they have various combinations of either all or like few of these tissue, that is connective, muscle, nervous, and epithelial. Okay, I hope you understood this particular statement that I just made. Yes, now Sailesh.
Yes, sir. I have a question. So you said the tissues have to be a lot of kinds of tissues have to be connected to make a organ, right? So my question is, suppose now, how do the tissues connect with each other? Means there has to be something, right? Something like glue or something that connects them. What is the thing that connects it?
Okay, so usually, like, our understanding of connecting something is either by physically holding it together or by sticking to each other, like a Fevicol or something, right? These are the 2 most common understanding that we have when we say these 2 things are connected. Same is the case with the tissues. Mostly they are stuck to each other either by their shape or by the extracellular matrix that is present in them, which is not literally like a Fevicol, but that holds these tissues together in a particular structure. And also, if you know that our body is not hollow except the organs, right? Your stomach is hollow, but outside the stomach, until the outermost part of the skin, it is completely filled with something. Something means either tissues or water or blood or cells or some other part of the bone and so on. Right? So outside the hollow organs, it is completely filled. So that structural formation allows all the tissue to stick to each other. And like I said, there is something called as extracellular matrix, which we will see in the connective tissue. So extra means outside, outside cell, that is extracellular. Matrix means some material. So the material which is present, or biological material which is present outside the cell, that is the one which usually holds all the tissues or cells in one piece. Okay, does that answer your question, Sailesh? Mr. Sailesh,
Yes, yes.
okay. So coming back, so the collection of tissues, they are joined in a structural unit. That means, like I explained, there can be one type or one or more type of tissues coming together in a particular fashion or particular arrangement, and that is what forms the organ. And this is done to serve a standard function of organ. That means heart has a standard function, that is pumping of the blood. But for that pumping of the blood, it needs muscle tissue. Now, for muscle tissues to be there, it needs to have connective tissues holding all the muscle tissues together. To allow the blood to flow inside, it has to have epithelial tissue inside, and so on. So, and also to get the signal from the brain, it has to have nervous tissue. So it is actually a combination of various tissues, and to perform a certain function, related to that particular organ. And also same is the case with your most of the other organs. You name any organ which will have all these type of tissue in common. Let's say, and let's take another example. For example, kidney, right? The main function of kidney is to filter the urine from the body, right? Now, obviously the blood supply is there, so there are muscular tissue. The kidney's filter is actually the epithelial tissue. Kidney, they are getting some nervous stimuli or nervous signal from the brain to filter or not to filter the urine. That means there is nervous tissue, and kidneys are being held at one particular position. That is the function of the connective tissue. So in general, like I gave an example of the heart, similar to similar in kidney as well, it has all 4 types of tissue. And again is the case with the all the other organs as well. So that is what this first line means. Secondly, the primary purpose of these 4 types of tissue differs depending on the type of organism. Now, what does this mean is the primary purpose of individual tissue will be different. So for example, let's say a nervous tissue. Now, if you are touching to a hot thing, the most prominent response that you get is you take away your hand from that hot thing. That is a reflex, right? So that is one type of function. Now, second type of function of nervous tissue is sending a signal from brain to heart to pump the blood, or from brain to stomach to digest the food, right? So there are different types of nervous tissue which carries out specific function depending on different type of organ or different type of organism as well, right? I hope that part is clear as well. And it's not only nervous tissue, for muscular tissue also it will be different. So again, for example, if you want to lift something, you use your hand. That is your skeletal muscle. That is one type of muscle. And if you want to allow the passage of the food from your stomach or from throat to the anus, that is the outer opening of the gastrointestinal tract or digestive system, then it allows the food to pass through it because of the presence of different type of muscle. So depending on what type of function it is, the type of tissue will also be different in a particular organism. And again, the another example that is given here, the origin of the cell comprising a particular tissue type also differed. That means where those cells are originated or where they are coming from in that particular organ or that particular tissue will also be different. Okay, any question from this slide before we move on to the connective tissue, like starting with them as the first type? Any question here?
Ardit, mute yourself.
Sir.
Yes, someone wants to say something. Can't figure out who is it. Okay, I assume that there are no questions related to this. Okay, then we move forward with the first type that we are going to look at, that is the connective tissue. Now here we will see what is it, like the meaning as well as the, and again we will look at the structure as well as the function. Like I had mentioned, in biology we always look at whatever cell, whatever organ, whatever tissue is there, we always look at these 2 aspects, that is structure and the function. So these connective tissue, they are the group of cells or group of tissues made up of cells separated by a non-living material that is called as extracellular matrix. And like I explained earlier, extra means outside or in addition to the cellular material, there is something called as extracellular matrix, and it says it is non-living material. Now, non-living doesn't mean that it is dead. It is just of biochemical in nature. What it means is, let's say you know that your body has proteins, body has carbohydrates or fat molecule or water or salt or different electrolytes, right, or different minerals and so on. They are all non-living material, right, because they are chemical in nature. That doesn't mean they are dead. There is a difference, right? Living thing can be dead, but non-living things cannot be dead because they are not living at all, right? I hope you understand this particular part. So those non-living material, when they are present around the cell, that is what is called as extracellular matrix. Now let's say, for example, in some of the cases, there are cells which are loosely arranged in a particular organ. Now, when they are loosely arranged, that doesn't mean that there is a space in between the cell, but that that space between the cells is filled with some material. It includes water, it includes proteins, it includes some carbohydrates, some fat, some minerals or something. And this extra space outside the cell filled with different biological materials or biological molecules, that is called as extracellular matrix. And when the cells are present with this extracellular matrix, that is called as connective tissue. Okay, I hope the structural information of the connective tissue is clear, but if you have any doubt, please do ask. So that is the structure of the connective tissue, which is very different from the other type of tissue, that is presence of non-living material, that is extracellular matrix along with the cells, and that particular tissue is connective tissue. Now this tissue, it provides shape, that is connective tissue is responsible for providing shape to different organs and maintains their position. Like in earlier example, I had given the example of heart and kidney. They are being held at their position with the help of connective tissue, because surrounding this heart or kidney or any other internal organ, you will find connective tissue being present around those organs, and that is why they are being in a particular shape and maintained at their position. So that is the function of connective tissue. And the examples, again, we did not go into these details of blood as an example of connective tissue, but let's say, for example, bone. Now your bone, everyone knows how a bone looks like, right? Bone is actually made up of different bone cells. And now you know how hard the bone is. These bone cells, they are attached to each other with this extracellular matrix, so that bone has a certain shape and it provides support to the whole body. Similarly, there is something called as tendon. Tendon is something like a string or a fiber-like structure which is across the what you call joints, like ligaments. So if you see these tendons and these ligaments, they are some similar structure which are present across the joint. Let's say we have this elbow joint, and if it is just the connection between two bones, that may not stay in place, but these tendons and ligaments, they are the one which will connect from the forearm part of the bone to the upper arm part of the bone. So they are like crossing over the joint and holding the two bones together, allowing the movement of the bones as such. So that is tendon and ligament. They are also part of connective tissue. Then adipose tissue, these are like fat-like tissues present in your all the fatty areas like thighs or arms or the belly part. So they all have this connective tissue. And the areolar tissue, again, these are specific type of tissues present in the body, but we need not go into those details. For your understanding, you can stick to the bones, tendon, adipose, and ligament. You can.
So what was adipose?
Adipose is like kind of fat storing tissues. Yeah, these are rich in fats. So let's say if we have a belly, that will have more of adipose tissue. Okay, so that is the structure function of the connective tissue. And in general, again, this is just for your information. It is not actually required to be mentioned, but there are in general 3 types of connective tissue. That is fluid connective tissue, fibrous connective tissue, and the skeletal connective tissue. Fluid connective tissue is like one which holds the body in little fluid stage. Like let's say between your skin and your bone, there is a little fluffy area, fluffy as in that you can press, right? So that is because of the connective tissue, because it is fluid in nature, which can change the shape, right? Not permanently, but even temporary. It can change the some shape, and that is what is fluid connective tissue, because it connects the bone with the skin and the muscles. Then the fibrous connective tissue, one which is stuck to the bones, that is fibrous connective tissue. And the skeletal connective tissue, which is connected to the muscles of the body, that is the skeletal connective tissue. So there are in general these 3 types of the connective tissue. Any doubt?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I had a doubt. Can you please tell the purpose of fluid connective tissues again?
Fluid connective tissue is, see, you already know what fluid is, right? Fluid is little one which flows, or the material which flows, that is called as fluid. So in your body also, you have certain tissues which are not so fixed in terms of, let's say for example, your skin for that matter is having different layers. Below those layers, there is a fluid connective tissue which holds the skin in a little fluid way. That means if you try to press it, it can move a bit as in not from its place, but it changes its shape. Something like stomach, right? If you try to touch your stomach, it's little fluffy. That is because just below the skin, you have this fluid connective tissue being present. And the fluid connective tissue has the extracellular matrix of this fluid connective tissue is more water-based. And that is why it is fluid connective tissue. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other question?
So can you explain me skeletal connective tissue again?
Skeletal connective tissue is the connective tissue which is related to the skeleton. Skeleton is your bony structure.
Okay, sir.
Or the skeletal muscles as such. So whatever is holding those muscles and the bones together, that is what is called as skeletal connective tissue.
Okay, sir.
Anyone else? Any other question? Okay, so if not, then we will just quickly look at the overall like detailed functions of the connective tissue. Some of them might overlap with what we have already discussed, but yeah, still we will go over it. So functions of connective tissue. The connective tissue functions by providing shape, like we had seen this earlier, and maintains the position of different organs in the body. Of course, this we know. It functions as the primary supporting tissue of the body. Primary supporting tissue as in, like imagine if
So
yeah,
we just did this, no?
sorry.
We just did this connective
Yeah,
tissue.
that's when I said there might be some function which are overlapping, and just go over it. So connective tissue, these are the primary supporting tissue of the body. Let's say for example, you had only bones, you had skin, and you had no connective tissue, and you had internal organs. Your body will not be able to hold its weight like how it is holding. Like the way you lift your arm is of course because of the muscle tissue, but because those muscles are being held to the bones, that's why you are having a solid structure to your hand while you lift it. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for muscle tissue and the bone tissue to come together and to support the body. So because of the connective tissue, it is helping all the other organs to support, and that is why it is the primary supporting tissue of the body. And the other important functions of the connective tissues includes insulating. Now insulating, does anyone know what is insulation means? What is insulation or insulating?
Sir, insulation is, I don't know in biological terms, but it's in technically it's cooling down, or insulator is something that does not let energy pass through it.
Right. So the energy can be either electrical energy or the heat. In all of these cases, that is, so you all have seen wire, right? Like a cable wire, right?
Yeah.
Has the metal part, and outside it is wrapped with some plastic material or rubber material, right? That outer coating is called as insulation,
Insulation.
right? And same is the case in biology also. It insulates the organ from the external environment. Let's say, imagine, obviously these are all tissues, they will have some porosity as in something like a membrane which will allow things to transfer across the membrane. Let's say in case of heart, if it is without connective tissue, the blood can flow through the wall itself and not through the tubes, right? At least the water will be able to flow from inside the heart to outside or from outside to inside. So to not it allow that particular part or that particular organ is always insulated from its surrounding, and only a specific function is allowed by that particular organ. Same is with the stomach. Let's say, for example, stomach is getting the food, and of course it gets acid and water and all of it. But if the water is being allowed to transfer or transport across the stomach wall to outside, or from outside of the stomach wall, the water is allowed to transfer to inside, and it will also carry out some nutrients along with it. So then it may not be helpful for body to gain maximum nutrition from the food that we eat. So stomach is also insulated with a particular type of connective tissue, so that this transport is avoided. So that is what it means by insulation. Okay. Then it helps in binding the organ together and provides the support. It is same like the first point we had seen, holds the organs together in their place and provide the support. Third point there, it protects against the invasions of pathogens by phagocytic activity. Now this term will be new to you. I will explain what that means. So it protects against the invasion of pathogen. Pathogen means any microorganism like any bacteria or virus which cause disease. Pathos means disease, and gens means generation or generating. So those who generate disease, they are called as pathogen. So in this case, pathogen refers to those bacteria or virus which causes diseases, and the connective tissue, they offers protection against the entry of these pathogens into body. And how do they do that? They do so by the phagocytic activity. Phagocytic means you all know for example, there is a kind of immune cells in your body, that is white blood cells. Whenever a bacteria or virus comes in contact with the white blood cells, it will eat it up completely. So it will allow that bacteria or virus to enter inside the body of that, inside the white blood cells, and it will break it down into pieces. That is called as phagocytosis, and that is what is known as phagocytic activity.
So I didn't get this part.
Wait, I will explain you on the board so that it will be more clear. 1 minute. So let's say you have this is your white blood cell. Now I'm not drawing nucleus and other parts of the cell. Imagine this is your white blood cell which is present in your blood and which is also called as immune cell, because this is the one which provides protection to your body. Let's say, and there is a virus or bacteria. Now I am drawing a hexagonal shape, right? This is a bacteria, yeah, bacteria B. Now when the white blood cells comes in contact with bacteria, what it does is it will change its shape and it will try to eat this bacteria. And in next stage, it will completely take the bacteria inside. So I'm just changing it here now. So it will just take the bacteria completely inside and it will break it down, right? And it will break it down into pieces. So bacteria will be dead. So that is how this process is called as phagocytosis. Phagocytosis. Yeah, and that is what is the ability of the connective tissue to be present, like to show the phagocytic activity of the cell. Not all of this you need to remember Vedika, but yes, some of the concepts it will be good that if you remember them. Cancel the spotlight, share the screen. I hope this part is clear. So that is what is. So this connective tissue protects against the invasion of pathogens. So that is, it does not allow the entry of bacteria or virus which cause disease by phagocytic activity. And this is what is phagocytic activity.
So, but how does the connective tissue do that? The white blood cells does it now.
Correct. So connective tissue, they have certain white blood cells present because obviously those tissues will be provided with blood supply. So that means there will be blood.
Also, some connective tissues are formed by white blood cells, that thing, joining of white blood cells.
No. That doesn't mean it that way. So your connective tissues will have certain immune cells present with it because there will be supply of the blood, and that together with connective tissue will act as a will act against the pathogen. Okay. So moving forward, so again this says the same thing, provide shape to the body. I don't know why it has been repeated so often. I guess it's bad slide that I have made. Fine. So it conserves the body heat and also stores the energy. Now this insulation is referring to this as well. Conserves the body heat. That means whenever there is a drop in temperature outside or increase in temperature outside, in both of these cases, body has certain function to do. So when there is cold outside, body temperature maintains its 37 degrees or 98.5 degree Fahrenheit temperature by conserving the body heat. And how does it do that? So in that case, the connective tissue helps the body to maintain the temperature by not allowing the heat to go outside. So that is the function of the connective tissue in terms of conservation of body heat. And again, in case of when outside it's more hot, it will allow the like sweat to pass through skin, and then it will cause a reduction in the body temperature, and that is how it will also help in maintaining the body heat. And also stores energy. Obviously, like I had mentioned, like adipose tissue, which is like kind of fatty tissue, and fat has a lot of energy in them when they are broken down to smaller molecules, and that is how it also stores the energy with the adipose tissue, which is one type or one example of connective tissue. It is involved in transportation of water, nutrient, minerals, hormones, gases, and so on, right? Because they are part of the extracellular matrix, obviously they can get transported from the connective tissue to wherever they are required. Okay, any question here? Anyone? I hope you have understood this part. So I assume there are no further questions in connective tissue. I'm thinking, should we start with muscle tissue or we do it next time? Because if we start, we will not be able to finish it now. It will take a lot of time because there is quite a lot to explain in terms of muscle tissue.
So can we leave?
Yeah, let me check if anyone.
Sir, 1 second. Everyone, there's no CLT class.
Which was
Aryaman, your voice is breaking.
Yeah, there's no CLT class. It's a free class.
Don't join any class.
I am not getting what you people are saying. I hope it's a message for you all. I hope you have figured it out what it means. Okay, so
Bye. Bye, sir.
we stop here. Thank you very much, people, and have a nice.
Welcome. Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye, sir. Have a nice day, sir.
Bye. Arav, are you there?